On behalf of all the staff of Neptune Network Nigeria Limited, we stand in solidarity with Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan to support justice and fairness.
We are all Natasha.
I am Aisha Musa Auyo, and I am here to read the column The Arbiter, written by Dr. Hassan Gimba. I specifically choose to read out this column as a woman supporting woman, since it is written about Natasha. Natasha, The Conspiracy of Vultures by Hassan Gimba. It is a matter of taking side of the weak against the strong, something the best people have always done. Harriet Beecher Stowe. Not as many people know the popular novel Uncle Tom's Cabin, which depicts harsh conditions experienced by enslaved African Americans, as they know its author, Harriet Elizabeth Beecher Stowe, June 14, 1811 to July 1, 1896. She was an American author and abolitionist. Coming from the religious Beecher family, her book reached an audience of millions as both a novel and a play. It became influential in the United States and Great Britain, energizing anti-slavery forces in the American North while provoking widespread anger in the South. As an abolitionist, someone who thought to abolish slavery and advocates for the full emancipation of enslaved people, Harriet stood by the weak. There is virtue in standing by the weak and vulnerable. It is also a core Islamic virtue exemplified by the Prophet Muhammad's action and teachings, a virtue rooted in compassion, justice, and the protection of the vulnerable. He stood for the oppressed, including the poor, orphans, and widows. But Natasha is neither poor or a widow. The beauty who made heads turn on her first day in the Senate recalled the senator who had to be called to order when he started talking about her beauty on the Senate floor. Is also not voiceless. Despite a beauty so outstanding that a former senator, who was also a minister, had to confess to the world that the beauty of distinguished Senator Natasha is a problem to her, and that there is no way when she is passing that a man will not look at that woman. My leaning toward her is because she is the underdog, and I am one person who loves to pitch his tent with the underdog. Some say this predilection is rooted in compassion, empathy, justice, and commitment to protecting those who cannot defend themselves. However, Natasha is an Amazon who can defend herself. Ask Yahya Bello. I am sure he will tell you she is one hell of an uncommon woman he would never want to have as an opponent. This is why I laughed when Senate President Godswill Akpabio lamented that her actions had traumatized the Senate. That 15 billion clinic he plans to build for senators should be a trauma center, because with Natasha, as the Americans will say, he ain't seen no trauma yet. Even her name, Natasha, is uncommon in Nigeria. Though well known and commonly used in Ukraine, it is Russian. It is a diminutive form of Latin name Natalia, meaning born on Christmas Day or birth of the Lord. She might have gotten that name courtesy of her Ukrainian mother, Ludmila Ravchenko, from Rakitna, Chernivtsi in Ukraine. But without a doubt, her beauty was inherited from her mother. It looks like it is not only the beauty she got from her mommy, but also her fighting spirit. Did you not see how Ukraine took mighty Russia? We are not talking about the wisdom, but the balls not to back down from a fight. Again, that fighting spirit may have come from her two sides. Barrister Natasha Hadiza Akpoti, born on December 9, 1979 in Ilorin, was sired by a Nigerian Ebira father, Dr. Jimo Abdul Akpoti, from Ihima of the Emani clan in Kogi State. The Ebira are known warriors, but those of Eheme, particularly the Emani, are more dreaded. Many people tend to assume that Natasha was suspended a suspension that is under contention for 6 months because she alleged that the SP harassed her sexually. The Senate President harassed her sexually. No, the gadfly Bailey of the Red Chamber was hammered with 6 months suspension, purportedly because she went against Senate rule. And going against Senate rule means your constituency will pay for it by your suspension. But we know West Idaho's Hassan revealed that he heard the Senate President instructing that Natasha's suspension will be prepared even before the Ethics Committee deliberated on her crime. One may want to know where the other female senators were when their colleague was being hounded. Rightly or wrongly, there is an unwritten law for kindred to look out for each other even if they will talk truth to themselves behind closed doors later. However, those waiting to see that may wait till thy kingdom come, because Nigerian women are not known to stand by their ilk. Sarah Jibril can attest to that. Despite her advocacy for the emancipation of empowerment of Nigerian women and children, she got only one vote, apparently hers, at the 2001 People's Democratic Party presidential primary election, despite the many female delegates who voted. She fared better 4 years earlier when she got 4 votes. Some would say Nigerian women prefer to behave like the women in the following story. Soldiers entered a village and raped all the women. Only one resisted a soldier, killed him, and cut off his head. After the soldiers completed their mission and returned to their barracks, all the women came out of their houses with torn clothes, crying, except her. She exited her house with a soldier's head in her hand. Her look was full of pride, and she said, "Did you think I would let him rape me without killing him or him killing me?" The women in the village looked at each other and decided that she would be killed, so that their husbands would not ask them why they did not resist like her. She was attacked and murdered. They murdered honor so that shame could live. Perhaps this is why BC Fayemi, former First Lady of Ekiti State, condemned former Senators Florence Itagiwa and Biodun Olujimi and 7 Senator Ireti Kingibe for not supporting Natasha. Senator Kingibe, Olujimi, and Itagiwa's submissions on Senator Natasha are very disappointing, she said. There was a senator who even dragged the name of his former governor into the fray to score a point and perhaps look good in the Senate President's book, but his governor punctured his balloon. We have not heard from him since. Most senators behaved like conspiring vultures, cycling over a kill to take their share of the flesh. Beyond all this, one can see why women, the beautiful and not so beautiful ones, are skeptical of joining politics, and why husbands, the good and even not so good ones, are afraid to let their wives associate with politicians. Natasha's travel reveals that the opposition in Nigeria, whose vibrancy should be seen in the legislative house, is dying, if not dead. No senator from other parties was seen standing by her. It was a day when supposed vibrant senators went missing in action, and that is how they will each be picked, pecked, heckled, and cowered into state of sit-down look. The opposition, or probably all senators, should read the story of the rat who called a meeting of farm animals in panic and told them that the farmer had set a rat trap. The pigeon, chicken, goat, and cow all sympathized with him but insisted it was his problem since they were not rats. The story ended tragically for them, minus the rat. Natasha's story is a lesson for all, not only politicians. Learn to fight your battles discreetly and gather enough facts. The moment your opponent not only deciphers but sees where you are going, you are a goner. Hassan Gimba, ANIPR, as the CEO, publisher of Neptune Prime. Thank you.